If human consciousness continues after the death of the physical body, then what is the ultimate destiny for what is traditionally called the soul or spirit? For more than half a century, human beings have had an unprecedented opportunity to explore such questions, both philosophically and scientifically, thanks to a new field of research called near-death studies. Since the publication of Dr. Raymond Moody's book in 1975, the general public has become aware of the testimonies of human beings who have experienced clinical death and returned with remarkable stories to tell. Indeed, the new perspective we might glean from these experiences could clarify or resolve some of humanity's most profound existential and metaphysical sources of fear. Indeed, the fear of non-existence is not necessarily directly linked to the fear of physical death. After all, every near-death experiencer who's been able to share their account with the world has had the obvious advantage of having a physical body through which to tell it. But what of the individual who does not return after physical death? What might be the outcome for the individual spirit or soul? I recently had the privilege of interviewing near-death experiencer Betty Guadagno, a survivor of trauma and addiction, and also a student and teacher of A Course in Miracles. I asked Betty for her thoughts on the question of existence versus non-existence, and the result was the following exchange, which is still resonating in my heart and mind days later. In the heaven experience, did you feel a residue? I mean, I know that the essence of Betty was still there, but you also have a connection with higher self. So would you say that the personality, this is a question I also asked Dr. Jeffrey Long when I interviewed him, does the essence of yourself as a quote individual in your thought carry on after the death of the body?
You know what? I don't know what actually happens when you really die, right? Because everybody who comes back from these experiences did not really die. I
Of
mean, like a
course.
little bit, but like they
Right.
were, they were going to come back. So this is the way that I conceptualize it. Like, I believe that we are all one. And A Course in Miracles also solidifies this idea. Like, there is a law of oneness that is going on. Like, you and I are the same exact thing. We're sparked from the exact same source, but we think that we are these separate individuals because we see separate bodies, we see different characteristics. So I believe that, yeah, when I popped out of my body and I went into the heaven space, I was an individual soul. I could even see myself around thousands of other individual souls. It looked like light bodies, like no features, no gender, but the shape of a human, but just all beaming light. And so my brain was compartmentalizing, or my mind compartmentalizing, right? Saying, like, oh, I was an individual human. Now I'm an individual soul. And then as I went further and further into the experience, my light body disappeared. I became just a little orb of light, like
Mhm.
nothing, right? But my consciousness would never allow me to jump from human body to ball of light. How could I just be a ball of light? So it took me in these levels to get me there. And then I accepted that I was a ball of light. And then I also then accepted that I was part of source, because if source is nothing but light and I'm this little ball of it, I splintered off. Like, I am the little sectioned off piece of source. And
Okay.
so I understand unity and oneness in that way. But I need to compartmentalize. Like, there's some spiritual teachers that are like, we are all one, accept it, and just like walking around like everybody is a divine mirror. But I need the compartmentalization of levels. Like, I need to know that, I need to believe that I'm an individual soul. Like, my higher self has her own personality. Like, she's
Right.
rooting for me. Yeah.
Yes, hell yes.
Yeah.
Because that has been a source of terror for me for decades, for
Oh,
decades.
wow.
Oh, hell yeah. The fear of being a non-person. I actually accept that personhood is illusory in the sense that we're not our bodies, our achievements, our status. That's all ephemeral shit. But I hear these spiritual teachings which say, no person becomes enlightened. That's true. But I hear people literally told that they don't exist. And that non-existence is like almost a thing to worship in itself, I think, in some spiritual thought systems.
Wow. That's really interesting because, as I was preparing for what we're going to talk about today, that's a big part of what I want to talk about.
Oh, cool.
But not in the fact that, like, I've never really thought of it the way that you're saying right now. Like, but
Okay.
yeah, like, we actually don't exist because nothing does. That's what A Course in Miracles says anyway.
Uh-huh.
Course in Miracles says that nothing exists.
Uh-huh.
But then you read different spiritual teachings and they say different things. So like if you've ever read Journey of Souls by Michael Newton or Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz,
Okay.
these are men who are regression therapists,
Hmm.
and they
Hmm.
take people into the life between lives space. And they've regressed tens of thousands of people, right? Dolores Cannon, she also has
Hmm.
all of this amazing research done about what happens in this life between lives space. And all of those people are saying that, yes, you have an individual soul personality, you have a soul family, they all have individual soul personalities. And then maybe as we ascend higher and higher, like that probably goes away. And like your soul family is actually just one soul splintering off and
Right.
experiencing things with a bunch of different people. And then that bigger soul is part of the larger soul, which is part of the source. And
Yeah.
again, like I can understand the fear, right? Like I will evaporate into nothing. What are you actually saying?
Right, right. Well, and I did explore. I don't present myself as being expert in any school of Buddhism, but I did explore Buddhism for several years. I spent a period of time in a Buddhist meditation center, living there actually. And I am aware of schools of Buddhism which, don't recognize the existence of like a soul vehicle, and that's they believe in reincarnation, but that's not what survives the body. So I actually had to wrestle with a very concrete cosmology that I found terrifying. And I would try to talk about it with other people, and they just didn't understand the source of fear. And I couldn't understand why they couldn't understand. I was like, how could this is more terrifying than the idea of being sent to hell. If my fate is to wink out of existence now and forever, that's would I rather just rot forever in a limbo of like this dualistic existence? Wouldn't that be better?
Yeah, God, as you're saying it, I'm thinking this is why we come back over and over and over again. This
Yeah,
is exactly why we do it because we're like, wait, I have to just be like nothing? Nah, I want to be something. And so
right.
we just come back over and over and over again.
True courage is the willingness to love. We cry so loud in pain, partitions to above. If God exists way up in the sky, and you only got to meet him when your body up and died. Then nothing in this world is true but death, and happiness waits till after your last breath. I've searched this whole world, my heart searches still, yet my spirit remains busted, my cup remains unfilled. Am I such a wretch I deserve not love? Can I trade my broken wings for the feathers of a dove? I've waited so long in oceans of doubt, feeling like an alien, discarded and shut out. If God exists, he surely hears my cry. Or every hope of heaven is nothing but a lie. The mirror shows a stranger, not myself. My welcomeness evicted by promises of hell. If God belongs to special, chosen ones, my journey has been pointless, the folly of a dance. I look nowhere now, not even inside. I scream, please unbust me before my spirit dies. Oh God, please unbust me before my spirit dies. Oh God, please help me. God, please help me. My God, please help me. I not even inside. I look nowhere now, not even inside. I look nowhere now.